I remember when I finally got back to Florida, I walked into this trailer and my dad was sitting there in the kitchen. And I began to tell him all about what had happened to me and that I had come to know Jesus. And you know what he did, John Henry? He looked at me and he said, "Oh, for God's sake, son, if you're going to get religious, please stay a Catholic." He wasn't even practicing his faith, but that sort of bedrock was still there. So, two friends of mine who had actually moved when my parents moved, my parents were so loved, and they had a little trailer. And my mother said to me, "You need to go visit your friends. They've had some great things happen in their life." So I went, and when I started walking toward this little silver trailer, they had Christian music playing. Welcome Back to Jesus was the name of the song by Love Song. And I walked in, and they began to tell me they had given their life to the Lord. And they were going to a Bible college in that town. And maybe I should go because I told them what had happened to me on that beach in California and how I couldn't put this New Testament down. So here I was, kid from Dorchester, newly come back to faith in Jesus, and I enrolled in a Bible college. But you know what? I couldn't shut my brain down. I spent only one semester there, and I had some good professors. There were people of sincere faith, but I wanted to delve deeper into church history, and I couldn't do it in their library. Since then, they've actually changed their library and they consider me an alumni. So I ended up going to the local public library in Lakeland, Florida. And there I discovered the fathers of the church. And I began to read Ignatius of Antioch and Polycarp. And what did I see in their writings? I saw the Holy Mass. And I began to see the Catholic experience I had as a little boy. And so I said to myself, I need to look more deeply into this. And there was two Catholic churches in town. One was more contemporary in its style. The other was just like the church I had been going to when I was a little boy, St. Matthew's. Stained glass windows, beautiful. So I started going over to this church, St. Joseph's in Lakeland, actually. And I remember when I walked in and I smelt the votive candles. And I looked up and there was the altar rail. And I saw the tabernacle. And I just sensed the presence of God. And I would go there every day and pray. And one day, it was 2 weeks into this practice, as I'm leaving, the lights go on. And I thought, oh my goodness, maybe I'm not supposed to be here. And as I'm walking out, there's an older woman coming up the stairs. And she said, "Where are you going, son?" I said, I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't be here. She said, "Of course you should. We're about to have Mass. Why don't you come to Mass?" So she invited me, and I did. And as the Mass began, and I began to hear the words, and even holy, 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 Lord God of hosts, I began to weep uncontrollably. I knew I had been away from the church. I didn't try to receive communion, but I couldn't stop crying. And at the end of it all, I went up to the priest and thank God he was a holy, good priest. He could have thought I was nuts. And I began to tell him my whole story. And you know what he said, John Henry? He said, "Welcome home, son. Let me tell you about a couple at the other parish in town. They have a small prayer meeting tonight. I think you need to go to that prayer meeting. And there's a Mass beforehand. Now, I think you have some things to talk about with me before you go, but why don't we do that now?" And so he heard my general confession. And then I went to Mass again with his permission, and I received the Eucharist.
Hi, everyone. This is Father James Altman for LifeSite News. We hope you enjoyed this video. For more content like this, check the links in the description. You can also connect with us on social media to stay up to date with the latest news on life, faith, family, and freedom. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you all.